You're here to learn about the Changeling, the new faction under tzeentch. If you're a subscriber to the channel, you knew that I was going to cover the Changeling first. I was somewhat excited about what appeared to be a new spin on the Skaven Undercity mechanics, and I would say that the Changeling is very much a free agent, which I think is very thematic. He basically moves around the map, influencing what other factions do to each other across the campaign map while trying to achieve his own goals. Right off the bat, when you open up your Changeling campaign for the first time, you'll notice that he has access to basically all of the stances. No stance, teleport stance for tzeentch, channeling stance, as to be expected for generating wins, and camp stance, raid stance, ambush stance, and force march. What I'm about to say may or may not be intentional on the part of the developers, but I certainly hope that it was, because the Changeling can move from forced march stance to no stance and can even recruit as long as there are military buildings in the region, even after having force marched. And the default state of the Changeling's army is undetectable by enemy factions in a region. As a Tzeentchian faction, we're used to seeing favor and grimoires, but we also have a third resource as the Changeling in the form of cult supplies. Cult supplies are used to construct buildings, and you acquire them from other buildings, schemes, and technologies. As a Tzeentchian faction, we expect him to have access to the changing of the ways, and he does. He has Spread Corruption, Open Gates, Reveal Shroud, Break Alliance, Track Army, Force Peace, Force Rebellion, Transfer Settlement, Halt Army, and Force War. You access these and initiate them with the use of grimoires. Normally in Immortal Empires, we're going for conquest, but the Changeling is slightly different in that his campaign progresses through the activation of schemes. And you complete schemes in a given area, and those go towards a grand scheme. Those grand schemes then compile to go towards an ultimate scheme. And the individual schemes in an area are relatively straightforward. For instance, this one is sack Altdorf, but you might also have win 15 field battles, for instance. His starting army, himself, an iridescent horror, Zangors, 2 blue horrors, a burning chariot of tzeentch, a cockatrice, furies, and a flamer of tzeentch. Upon winning a battle, you will be given the opportunity to either raise the settlement, set up a parasitic trickster cult, or set up a symbiotic trickster cult. You also have the option of starting military cults with the trickster cultist. The only difference between any of these cults are the buildings that the cult starts with. These buildings are free when you start the new cult, but you'll have to pay for all the additional ones. Some cult buildings lock out other building chains. Usually they are their counterparts on the other side, whether they're parasitic or symbiotic. I'm not going to tell you what each individual building does. That's for you to discover when you get to the game, but think about it like this. Each building has some kind of impact on either local control, the amount of grimoires that you're getting, cult supplies, income, etc., etc. Some negatively impact local control, some positively impact local control, some give you a lot of money, some steal money from the host faction, and you can run a mix and match of both types of buildings. If you attack a settlement after you've already started a cult, you will only be given the option to raise the settlement. Another interesting thing is that when a settlement is raised, your cult buildings do not disappear. Unlike the Skaven Undercity mechanic, your cult buildings remain. And if somebody starts ruin dwelling that settlement after it's been raised, they start being impacted by those buildings. One of the unique faction mechanics for the Changeling is the ability to transform into any other legendary character in the game while in battle. The starting lord that you will have access to is going to be completely random, but they can be unlocked through various quests and actions, including defeating that lord. The Changeling's skill tree is super fat, and I suggest that you run down the character-specific line because it will allow you to unlock the special abilities and lore passives of that lord or hero. Anyway, that's my quick take on the Changeling's new mechanics. If you enjoyed this video or if you found it interesting and informative, then please sound off in the comment section down below. Interacting with the video absolutely helps out. It helps the machine know that more people need to see this video. And if you feel so inclined, then please hit that subscribe button. It absolutely helps out. And now that the embargo has dropped, If this video gets 1,000 likes, then I will do a live stream dedicated to the Changeling this week.